Hello and welcome to the CRM Zen Show where we talk about all things Zoho. This is episode 224, recorded on November 11th, 2022. That's 11/11/22. $1 billion.
Nice. I was hoping you would do the pinky.
From Zenatta Consulting, I'm Brett Martin.
And I'm Tyler Colt. And before we get onto our show, we do want to remind everybody this show is produced by Podcaster Zen.
Are you looking into starting a podcast? Or maybe just need some help putting it all together so you could focus on your voice telling your story? Introducing Podcaster Zen. From audio podcasts to video to live streaming a show, we do it all. Head over to podcasterzen.com for more info on how we can help you share your message with the world.
Nice. So what you got planned for the weekend, buddy? Anything?
Not very much. Just enjoy the cool weather. Probably get back outside and try to tire my dog out. How about you?
I am headed to the California Wine Festival in
Oh
lovely
boy.
Huntington Beach, California.
Oh, look
Yes.
at that. Very
Yes.
nice.
Well, it's so nice. It's like 25 minutes down the road, so it's a good place to have it. So we're heading over there for the weekend and going to be doing that and having some fun. It's a beautiful weekend. It's been raining all week and now it's just beautiful and sunny, so it's all good. Did you notice I got a haircut, buddy? Look at this.
It's looking
Look at
sharp.
this.
It is
Oh,
looking
dude.
sharp. Kind
I
of
tell
copying my
you
flow.
what.
Yesterday when you came back from the barber and it was all like kind of flipped up, I took it a little
Well,
personally. It's kind of my look. And
I could never do it. I leave the barbershop and my hair will never look like that until I see her again. So I don't know what's going on. Anyway, with that, let's get on into events and webinars. Over at Zenatta.com, we try to keep track of all of the events, webinars that are going on in the world of Zoho, and you can find that over at Zenatta.com/events. And coming up here in November, we've got a few things. Zoho is going to have a CRM workshop in Manhattan. So, or if you are in the Big Apple, that's going to be Monday and Tuesday, November 14th and 15th. It's going to be a live event, and that's going to be at 41 Madison Avenue in New York. And then Tyler, next week, we're going to be doing our Zoho Click full product tutorial. That's going to be fun. So much has changed. The last one we did was over 2 years ago, and they've made constant improvements to that app as
yeah,
well.
that'll be a good one
Then,
to get back up there.
yeah, then we got some Zoholics going on. There's Zoholics Mexico that's going to be going on Wednesday and Thursday in Mexico City. That should be great. And then Zoho CRM Workshop in Miami Beach. I love the fact Zoho is rolling out all of these live events. We had our Partner Inspire event this week, and Zoho announced that they're actually going to be rolling out live events for us. So Zoholics is coming back. Some changes to that. It looks like rather than having one big massive event in Austin, Texas, they're going to kind of do what they did over in Europe this year and have 4 or 5 events spread out across the country, making it a little easier for people to get to these Zoholics events. So one event of 5,000 people, that'll 5 events with 1,000 people, I guess. So that'll be kind of nice. All right. And with that, let's get right on into the news. Tyler, Zoho meeting continues to have its updates. There's some good stuff. There's good stuff here that they're doing. They're constantly, this application is getting better and better and better. Most of the updates we've seen recently are kind of catch-up updates. This is a little bit like that. And you've got request to unmute has been added, and you can view 250 video feeds, change layouts, audio, remember devices in a webinar. That's just a huge one, to remember devices in a webinar. Just some nice stuff that they've kind of added into Zoho meeting. I've been on a lot of Zoho meetings lately, and it's sometimes great, sometimes not. But it, like we say, it's in our maybe category. If you don't have to do a lot of recordings, then really there's no real reason. You can just go ahead and use it. I think the enhancements they've made. Got a waiting room now. That happened this year. There's a lot of stuff that's happened this year that made it a very
I will say
usable
too,
app.
I was on a Zoho meeting recently and I tried out the virtual background. And it
Yeah.
was surprisingly good for like a V1 of the virtual background, because normally it's going to take some time to really like dial that in. I was very pleasantly surprised with how good the virtual background is. Does still have
Yeah.
some of those little odds and ends with the video and audio quality. Like your voice coming through just doesn't have that radio ready tone to it. But they're definitely working on it. And I think, lots of these little features, request to unmute, the virtual backgrounds, increasing the video feeds, they're all great things. But I think that core one that they still need to work on a bit is just the bandwidth, right? To get some
It's
of those qualities up.
Yeah. And I was talking to the team. They had the Zoho Inspire event this week, which is their partner event, and we actually were speaking at it. I was speaking at it, and we did a kind of a Q&A session at the end, and people were saying, what are the apps you wanted to see improved the most? And I said, well, I'd like to see meeting and bookings improved. And you know how you can do those little, clapping of your hands that
Mhm.
hundreds of clapping hands went up on the screen. And I think 2023 is the year where maybe we can leave Calendly and Zoom. I'm hoping sometime there, because they are making huge investments in data centers and those kind of
Yeah.
things. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed, Tyler.
Save
I
us a
think,
lot of money every year. That is
oh,
for
it
sure.
really, yeah, 25 Calendly users and 25 Zoom users. It's yeah, that would be a great thing. All right, and with that, we've got our next story is on Zoho Books and all the changes that we've made to that. So, but I think before we get to that, don't we have a director of finance here at
We do. I've heard
Zenatta?
rumors. I've heard rumors of this man, this director of finance.
Here he is, the man, the myth, the legend, John Oda. How are you, John?
Doing well, guys. Doing well.
Good to Good
Thanks
to
for
have
joining.
you, buddy. So, we're starting to think it's Tyler and I always fumble our way through these financial things sometimes. Oh, they did this and that. It's like, well, goodness gracious, we've got John. Why don't we have him come in and discuss the finance things when they've made those changes? And for those of you that don't know, over at Zenatta.com, Zenatta, we have an entire financial services offering. If you head over to Zenatta, click on our services, click on finance services. You can click this button and book a free consultation with John. We do migrations from QuickBooks mostly, but a lot of platforms. We have bookkeeping services. We'll do a full financial review for you. And all those are broken down here. And John would love to talk to you. So if you've got any need for any financial services related to Zoho, head on over and book a meeting with John. So with that, John, let's why don't you tell us about what happened this week, what Zoho did with Zoho Books, the latest changes.
There's a couple new updates here. The first one is the outstanding filter in the client portal. So if those of you who don't know, Zoho Books does offer both a vendor and a customer portal for you. So in this portal, you can now go to the statement page and see if you have any outstanding invoices that are due to you. So they'll be able to pay those. The next one here is reverse charge. So this is only going to really affect the global edition. And reverse charges are where the customer actually pays the taxes directly to the government. So they have enabled this ability to turn this on. And with that, your customers will be paying kind of your sales taxes, VAT taxes, import taxes. So the next thing here, which I'm really excited about for the migration side here, is that they are able to import applied excess payments. So customers who have paid too much and they have credit amounts sitting on their balance there, they will be able to import those and apply those directly to invoices rather than having to enter them in manually. And the last part here, they have some new iOS 16, Mac, and iPad updates. So you're now able to use notes and custom fields in the bills module. You're able to scan business cards and attach them directly into books for your customers there. Same with the scanning live text. You can copy and scan content and put that into your notes on the customers there. There's also some quick actions now that you can do in bulk. So that's what we have here with updates on Zoho Books.
Nice.
Awesome. Cool thing too is
Yes.
the continuity camera being able to scan barcodes. That's kind of slick. I feel like a lot of things that can actually add a bunch of value, just being able to use your phone, tie it into the laptop, and just go, make a package and things like that so much more easily.
Yeah, it's slick. And that's got scan live text feature I've been using a lot. It's like, you basically click the button when you're in a document and it pops up thing, do you want to scan, and you can just scan the text, and it does a really nice OCR and reads it from there and then just drops it into whatever document you're using. So it's nice support for that. That will be extremely handy. Well, John, thanks for dropping by, buddy.
Thanks, John.
Yeah,
All right. And with that, let's get into the rest of the news. So the marketplace, Tyler, this is we're up to 1,500 extensions, and uh, we saw October drop a bunch of new extensions into the marketplace. I kind of scanned through these. My favorite one was this new Zoom phone for CRM. So for those of you who don't know, if you do Zoom meetings, Zoom also offers VoIP services now for cheap.
Yep.
It's like $10 per month added onto your license to do it. So, if you're paying for some of these other services. So it looks like it's supporting their phone bridge service. So you can, it's funny, these if you're watching this on YouTube, for some reason, these updates never properly format when they do them. But you can now record phone calls inside CRM. So if you're just using, this doesn't say desk. I didn't see anything for desk or any of those, but it is supporting CRM. And that looks like a pretty nice feature. Anything else here jump out at you at all?
Yeah, lots of new plugins for Team Inbox. I mean, that's one that we don't find ourselves using too much. Up a little higher, I did see one that is kind of nice. It looks like a little plugin that will allow you to show your Zoho Books bills related to vendors. It's kind of down at the bottom. Scroll down just a little. Yeah, there it is. Zoho Books vendor bills.
Ah,
Um, and so up, I think one more section. Yeah, I mean, they're probably using here kind of one of those XML related lists via a plugin that we end up using, but it is something that we hear from clients. When you turn on that books to CRM integration, you're able to see estimates and sales orders and invoices in your customers. And while it syncs your vendors, it doesn't really show the bills that are processed to those vendors natively within CRM. So this is surely something you could build custom, right? If you did a little widget on your related list, but if you don't feel like doing that, take a look at that plugin because it might save you a little bit of time and effort.
nice. And if you don't know, if you head over to Zoho, to marketplace.zoho.com, you can see all these apps. You can basically filter them by whatever product you're trying to look for something to integrate to, or you can do a quick search. The marketplace is growing and growing and growing, and there's just a whole bunch going on over there. Um, Not a lot. Sometimes you won't see a lot of reviews. So I think for a lot of these apps, it's kind of trial and error. You got to download
Yep.
them, try them, see if they're good or not. And if they are, you're in good shape. Go with it. If not, there's probably another one that does something extremely similar. So, and moving on with the news, Community Digest, October 2022. So this is for the CRM. Every month, Zoho publishes their Community Digest where they round up everything that happened in the Zoho community. And the good stuff that happened around CRM, and they've got their new Superbuds teams, and
Do we
there's
have our first? Do we have our first super buds in here? Or are they still in the nomination phase? I think they
let's
might still be
see,
nominating.
yeah, I don't know where
Yeah,
we're
we're
going
still in the
here.
nomination phase. I want to see the first round of Zoho super buds come out here.
It's
Hopefully
it,
that'll be
it's
soon.
it's coming out soon.
I have
You
some
know,
suspicions of some regular contributors that will probably end up being super bud status in here.
yeah. When I first read that, I thought that was like there's a dispensary down the street that's got Superbuds, and I thought that would
A little
that
product
would be
placement.
something. I kind of went through this. I think we covered all of this on our show last over the last month, but this is a great roundup for everything that's going on in CRM. We always like to point it out. The product team for Zoho CRM does a great job of kind of going through, pulling out the highlights. So be sure you always check out the Community Digest. The link to this will be in our newsletter, as well as if you head over to Zenatta.com and just click on the CRM Zen Show for this week. We have all the show notes there, and you can get the link there as well. I should also point out that there's a lot of news that we just don't cover on this show because it's maybe kind of nichey or not all that important, but that's always in our newsletter as well. So please subscribe to our newsletter, and you will be up to date on all of that. For example, I think we left out for maintenance schedules that are going on this week.
Mhm.
So across the world, there's a lot of data centers that are going to be down for maintenance during a given period of time. You can check that out over in our newsletter. And then our next story is the big one. Sridhar Vimbu, the CEO of Zoho, was at a conference and talking, and he just said they're going to hire maybe over 1,000 employees next year, and they crossed the 1 billion revenue milestone, which is a pretty big deal for them as well. The interesting thing about this 1,000 employees that they're planning on hiring, during the partner event, it was asked how many of those will be in the US. And evidently, a good chunk of those will probably be over in the US. They've actually already expanded in the US. I didn't realize from like 80 employees to 250 employees in the US right now. And most of those are support, which is
Yep.
super important. So, a lot of people are calling for support, and so this will kind of be some local support. And a lot of this also ties into their Zoho has a thing called transnational localism. And what that is basically is that, you can be local in a community. And what they're trying to do is kind of spread out all of these offices. So they are opening offices all over the place and hiring locally. It makes a lot of sense because you can save a lot of money. Like they just opened a big office. I think they've opened 4 or 5 offices in Texas, and they've kind of gone out to these rural communities like McAllen, Texas, and they just opened an office out there in McAllen. And they're able to hire great talent at a lot less than you pay in Austin, Texas, for example, because rents are lower and cost of living's lower. And they're doing the same thing around the world as they kind of open offices everywhere. They're planning on increasing that workflow by up to 10%, and they're going to open 100 new of those little offices, those little points of presence around the world in the next 5 years, and start hiring people in these little local communities. I think it's a great initiative. Their software enables you to work remotely, to collaborate remotely. Yep. You don't have to be in a big city anymore. So good job.
Yeah, it's just been really exciting to see their growth over time. They've kind of set certain core values and goals and kind of kept those in mind. And it is interesting to see, especially as a lot of, more conventionally structured tech companies are forecasting big layoffs and downturns. Zoho is kind of adjusting their guidance, saying, hey, you know what, our growth is obviously going to slow down a little bit, right? If everything slows down, but that we're in a good cash position, we're going to keep hiring, we're going to keep getting things done. So it's maybe a testament to kind of the unique way that they run their business, where, hopefully as some of these other big players are laying people off, Zoho can scoop up some great talent that might be unemployed here soonly as other tech companies go through with their layoffs.
Yeah. Well, Zoho's model's good. They have an excellent model. They're also not beholden to shareholders because they are private. This whole thing has been bootstrapped without a penny of VC capital in it. Their entire 26-year history now, coming up on 26. So, congratulations to Zoho. And moving on with the news, it's kind of a small one, but if you've got the Zoho Desk iOS mobile app, you can now do some instant messaging through WhatsApp, Line, Telegram, and WeChat.
Yeah, there's actually something they released pretty recently for Desk as a whole, is a lot of these instant messaging integrations. So nice to see them roll it out quickly to iOS as well. Really with Desk, I love seeing this stuff. I mean, like for me personally, I would not WhatsApp a business to get support. I'm maybe old school and would probably email them. But the more channels that you can manage through one consolidated system for support, the better. So big kudos to Zoho. I mean, I know now you've got email, phone, SMS, a bunch of different varieties of these direct messaging tools that you can all just consolidate into one ticketing system.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I think in the US, we don't see much of this because we have such a distributed SMS environment between iPhone and everywhere else. But, in other countries, they've kind of replaced, they don't normally, people don't use the default SMS app. They're using one of these applications to communicate with each other. I kind of wish we'd do it here. I mean, when I talk about how I go down to Mexico all the time and all of my friends down there, it's just all WhatsApp. Everybody's WhatsApp.
Yep.
And it kind of, you don't have to worry about, oh, what phone do you have? What carrier are you with? What do you do? What model? It's just everybody's on the same thing. So really nice feature there. And then wrapping up the news, Tyler, this is a big one.
Yes, this one here, Zoho Forms rolling out OTP verification. So basically a one-time password that you can require that they put in. This is essentially a way to validate that somebody has a real phone number or email when they're filling out the form. This for any documentation around compliance or where you need identity verification. Obviously for managing spam, a CAPTCHA is going to be a little bit easier. But if you want to be very, very selective on who can fill out a form, you could surely do an OTP verification. But really nice just to have this as an option for when you need it, right? The reality is for most people on a contact us form on your site, stick with the CAPTCHA, right? But maybe you're deep into the process in a sale with someone and you're gathering some information about their business. You want to make sure it's actually that person filling it out, right? That's where you want to do some of this identity verification via OTP. So really cool. The one thing I'd be interested in, and I don't think it's going to be in V1, but if there is a way to send a form to somebody that kind of like predefines the phone number that they need to use to do it, right? So if I already know your phone, I can say you have to use that phone number to get this code. I don't think that would be in V1 of this. I'll have to poke around and see. But if you're listening, Zoho, a future update for this, that would be really, really nice. Because then you could really lock down and make sure that you know who is filling out a certain form.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And this, by the way, is not just OTP, it's CAPTCHA and OTP. Because really, in order to get the code, you have to, put in a CAPTCHA as well. So pretty nice. I think there are a lot because there's so much you can do with Zoho Forms. You can have people digitally sign. There's so much you can do. I think this is just that little extra step of security. And I love them thinking out of the box with this. So great stuff. All right, buddy. And with that, let's get on into the implementation of the week.
Alrighty, so this is one here built out by Lucas on our team with his bright and smiling face there in the bottom right-hand corner. So this implementation relies on books and analytics, and it's kind of a two-part implementation. So the first one is essentially our customer was looking for a way to automatically notify ongoing customer accounts of any open balances that they have on invoices, as well as what invoice it's on and a link to actually pay that invoice. And so that's kind of the first part. And we built that piece out a little while back. We may have actually talked about it as an implementation before, but there's now kind of like a new part two, right? So basically there's this scheduled function that is regularly scraping their customer accounts. And anybody who has an open balance will receive that email where basically we're able to format all of the invoices that they have into an HTML table and put it in the body of the email. And then we also attach a formatted PDF with payment links to each of those invoices so that we know they've got the information and the ability to actually pay for those invoices. So part two of this is basically that our customer came back and said, okay, this is great, and they're all going out. But because it's now automated, I don't have a good way to know like when exactly the last time someone received one was. Was there ever any types of issues or periodic failures with the function? And how am I going to actually know that somebody received one of these logs? And so we circled back to our function here, and we created basically what is like an audit log table inside of analytics, where each time that we actually make the attempt to send that email, if it succeeds or if it fails, we're going to actually write it to a table. If there are any issues, we write those to a log of exactly what happened so that we can come back in and make adjustments to that function later. But then what we found is kind of the kicker of this is that using that audit log, we actually now know in a really easy to report on way when the last time a certain customer received this customer statement is. So using that data, we're then able to build some additional reporting so that our client can look at, for each of my customer accounts, what is their open balance right now? And when's the last time I notified them about it, right? So that if they can look at it and see, it's been a week and they've got a lot of money sitting out there in open invoices, I'm going to follow up again with them, right? So we're able to kind of create some outlier reports and the ability to prioritize their follow-up, looking at things on both a basis of how much money am I owed from this customer and when's the last time I gave them that poke or prod to actually, true up on their account. It's a really
Wow.
nice build, kind of a two-parter. We built that previous piece a while back, and our client loved it and was using it for a while and came up with some more fun ideas on how we can improve it. So I thought I would circle this one back in because I'm pretty sure
Super
maybe
nice.
you'd remember, Brett. I think I've talked about the first piece of this before, that kind of like automated statement balance. But now we've kind of improved it with some more reporting and audit ability.
Yeah, it's super, super nice. I mean, one of the things I love that we do, totally unrelated to this, is that with Zoho Books, when someone pays an invoice, we just drop that notification right in Click. We've got a
Hmm.
private channel so we can say, "Oh, they paid." I mean, there's just so many cool things you can do with these integrations. But this is a slick one, man. All
Nice, good
right,
job.
and with that, Tyler, let's head over to CodeShare and see what's going on over there. All right. So here, Alex has written some code to show how using regex, which is regular expressions, how you can actually extract data from a text string and pull it in. The example he's using here is, let's say you've got this string of code with someone's zip code in it. It's how you can kind of scan that using regular expressions to say, hey, go ahead and just pull out the zip code. And so it's doing that, saying, hey, it's 0 through 9. It's going to be 5 characters, what you're looking for, all the data. Kind of a nice, clean little bit of code to
Really cool.
yeah, grab
Yeah,
out a
it's
zip
actually
code.
super
So
cool. Like I could imagine, we've seen kind of an uptick with customers doing like SMS prospecting, right? Where you're trying to
yep,
get some additional information via SMS. I could think of use cases off the top of my head where, let's say inside of something like Zoho Flow, anytime a response comes back in Twilio, you're kind of scraping it for certain words. Like if it contains, let's say, zip, then run the function that looks for the zip code based on the format that Alex has put together here. But like we're using it for a zip code, but you could use this for a phone number, right? Maybe an email address. Maybe you only have a phone and you want to auto send them a text that say, hey, please respond with your email and we'll get it set up. Well, some people are going to respond with just their email. Some people will respond with my email is, right? Some people will
yep,
respond with go away, stop texting me. And for them, you leave them alone. But for everybody else, just that ability to basically set up a format that you're looking for and pull it out of unstructured text is super useful. So good job to Alex and team for putting
yeah.
this one together.
Nice, Alex. And if you don't know already, you can find all of our code shares over at club.zenatta.com. This is our online community where people can gather and share their thoughts and ask their questions for Tyler and I that we will answer on the show. But well worth. We've got our general discussion group, our code share forum, our Q&A, the Zoho News. It's a highly active forum. We love it. Our users seem to love it. It's growing. So if you get a chance, come on in and head over to club.zenatta.com and join the fun. And with that, Tyler, let's get on into the read of the week. All right, so HubSpot did a massive look at 120,000 plus businesses, and they wanted to know where traffic was coming from, conversion and lead trends for Q3 of 2022. And it looks like if you're an online marketer, signs of recession might be upon us. If you're watching this on YouTube, we've got a graph here that's unreasonable, but to break it down, Q3 2022 web traffic was down 7% compared with Q2 and 10% compared with Q3 of 2021. The hardest slump is financial activities, the whole
No
financial
surprise.
sector.
Little
Yeah,
less demand for loans, right? When they're about 5 times more expensive nowadays.
yeah, yeah. It's saw a 14% year over year drop. Anyway, so some really interesting data here. You can look at kind of what each industry, kind of break it down. Kind of other than leisure and hospitality, everything's down. Bottom line is, all web traffic, all searches are down. People they don't have the money to spend right now. So, but conversions are starting to bounce back. That's the good news. So if a person is out there searching for your product or service, you stand a better chance of actually converting them. Our side right here, professional and business services, is up 20% year over year. Yay. So anyway, really good article, breaks down a lot of interesting metrics. Anything that jumped out at you, Tyler, as you were reading it?
No, I mean, it's another kind of classic deep read from HubSpot, really good information. But yeah, I was kind of interested to see like the fact that traffic as a whole is down, but if they are landing on your website, you might be doing better. So, you could look at this to say, decrease your budget in trying to attract traffic because there's less to attract, but it might actually be the opposite where, those people who are searching right now maybe are more determined to get what they need, right? You might have a little bit less off the cuff spend, but, people are still going to need to get things done and you're still going to want to show up when they're looking. So I don't think it's time to kill those budgets completely, but it's a good time to take a look at what you're doing and make sure that you're being smart about it, right? It might be the
Yeah.
time to look at some of those PPC campaigns you're running, maybe kill the bottom performers, reallocate and stay super focused. But yeah, it's definitely interesting data. And it's one of those things where, I guess HubSpot, they kind of just use the user's data to capture this, I would have to assume, right?
They kind of
They
do.
do the web tracking, they do the lead capture. So I guess you were signing on the dotted line. I love that they do it. Don't get me wrong, but I've always thought it was interesting how they happen upon all of this data.
I think it's fine if it's anonymized like this,
Oh yeah,
right? Just kind of give you the
100%.
trends and take a look at that. And, HubSpot always does great articles. Shout out to Pamela Bump, who it seems like at least 3, 4 times a year we highlight some of her articles. She seems to write really good stuff. So HubSpot's got a great blog. So if you kind of want to know what's going on in the world, in the industry, you can check that out as well. All right. And with that, let's head over to Zenatta and see what's going on over there. Getting a little clickbaity this week, Tyler. I like it. This week's blog post is, what is a CRM? What did you say earlier? 5 things
If we
that make a
wanted to really, if we
CRM?
wanted to really maximize the top 10 tips about what is CRM, then we'd really be hitting it on both sides of the aisle.
So I doubt if you're watching the CRM Zen Show, you don't know what a CRM is. But if you don't, you can go ahead and read this article about what is a CRM. And of course, our goal of this article is people are going to search what is a CRM, and they're going to land on this article, Tyler. And guess what? They're going to go ahead and convert to us. So anyway, fantastic stuff there as well. All righty. And with that, let's head on over to our pick of the week. So, Tyler, one of our consultants, Drew, saw this and was stoked about it and pointed it out to us. And this is a program called VideoAsk, and it's by the people who bring you Typeform. If you're not familiar, if you ever fill out a kind of like a survey or registration or whatever, it's the one that kind of single line and kind of takes you page by page. It's got a really slick look and feel to it. But this one is basically doing the same kind of thing with video. Pretty cool. You basically record your video and you select the answer type it's going to be. Is it a text or audio response? You can have multiple choice selection. So it's kind of like you're actually filling out a form or taking a survey, but you're doing it with video.
And they give you the ability to do some logic too, so you could
Yeah.
ask, oh, hey, are you interested in Zoho consulting, finance services, web development, right? And they click that, and then it can present a specific video and some additional questions about that choice
Yeah.
that they've made. It's a really interesting tool. I mean, I think it's in line. Video is kind of king nowadays, whether it's social media, marketing, what have you. Everybody does seem to gravitate towards video. So it's an interesting concept, really, to work it into your lead capture flow.
Yeah. And they're integrating with Calendly and Acuity Scheduling, which was bought by Squarespace. So it's now called Squarespace Scheduling, and HubSpot Meetings and Schedule One. So they've got some interesting things there. We need to get a, Zoho Bookings thing in there. But they've got,
Talking about that, Brett.
yeah. And it's got speech to text. Anyway, it's a well thought out application. So, this is just another way to make it more personal. So instead of our website where it says book a meeting, I could say, hey, thank you for your interest, and have a little video and tell me about your company and kind of step them through that process. So I think there are some applications where this would be great. Some applications where it would drive me absolutely nuts. I just want to type in the form and fill it out. But good good stuff. So if you're interested in doing some sort of video marketing, video surveys, video forums, check out VideoAsk. And with that, Tyler, let's get to the tip of the week, which shockingly you did again. So tell us a bit about 5 things you need to know about integrating Zoho CRM and books.
Yes, I mean, this is kind of one of those ones that we probably should have recorded a long time ago. Obviously, CRM and books integration is something that we oftentimes do for our customers, but plenty of the time we'll, pick up a client, start working with them, and they already have this set up. There are a couple key things when you set this up that are very hard to undo. So I went ahead and recorded a video, just recording kind of the 5 things that you need to be aware of when you set it up. Essentially, what modules you want to sync. That's a big one, because if you choose accounts and later you want to choose accounts and contacts, it is a whole process to change that. We walked through, how the syncs work, what records you want to sync, how you want to filter, right? As we've kind of found, with some larger clients, is that filtering accounts and contacts and not having everything synced to books can be pretty important. Then we walked through how to actually map any of your fields, and then how it looks once it's on, right? And how to actually use it to speed up your sales processes. So hopefully it'll be a useful video for everybody. And make sure, if you do watch it and have any feedback or requests for other videos, to leave us a comment, and we will keep the ball rolling.
Pretty nice. And I understand this one was just like easy for you. It was just like one take. You just nailed it and it was done. Is that right? Like you did with surveys? No?
No, this one took me way too long. It was an off day for recording in Tyler's world.
Anyway, a great tip of the week. And all of our videos can be found over at youtube.com/Zenatta. We would love it if you would subscribe, click the bell, get notifications on all our videos. In the last 7 days, we've dropped 4 new videos for you to check out, not including the CRM Zen Show. So that's 5 videos in the last week. So head over to Zenatta.com, check out all of our videos. If there is something you're trying to do in the world of Zoho, it is most likely here. We've got a tutorial for you. If you can't find it, then you head over to club.zenatta.com and you go and you say, hey guys, would you make a video on this? And most likely we will. So head on over there.
We should have a video request forum on there.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Have one of those, but a nice place to drop requests, because I'm always running out of ideas of what to record. And that would actually help me out a lot.
Yeah, this year we kind of looked. We're going to refresh a bunch of the 2020 videos we did. Coming up, we've got some of those going, and please, if you have to watch them, sure, but man, have we dramatically improved our overall quality and presentation of our videos, thanks to Podcaster Zen. But we have all of that over there now, and if you've got something, let us know, because man, we're running analytics, Tyler. We're seeing what's missing, what we can do. I mean, we're spending hours and hours to try to figure out the 200 plus videos we're going to drop on you guys next year. So anyway, thanks for all of your support. And with that, let's get to some Q&A. Okay, so our first question comes from Carrie Ann Powell. She watched our Zoho Click full product tutorial 2020. Speak of a struggle, Carrie, you have no idea. Tyler and I hired divorce lawyers doing that video, and we're going to do it again this year. It's next Tuesday we're doing that. I don't know what's going to happen. Anyway, when sharing a screen in Click during a meeting, can I share a video with audio? Unfortunately, you can't. You can share the video, but you can't push that audio feed through. Click team, if you're listening, I don't think you can do that in Zoho Meeting either right now. Maybe you can. Maybe I think you can. Maybe I don't know. I think maybe you can.
I haven't tried it in a little while.
Actually, you know what? It is in Meeting, because I was in a meeting the other day and they were doing it. So I know you've got that. So Zoho team, unless we're missing something, let's push that feature over to Click, because I think you guys are already doing it, but not there yet, Carrie. All right, and then moving on. Luke Jones, after watching the Zoho Analytics dashboard, says, Tyler, he didn't say that, but I'm directing this question to you. Great insights in video. Is there any way to publish a dashboard directly to Zoho Expense in the same way you publish it to CRM? Thanks.
Yeah, so my gut answer on this, Luke, was actually no. And then I fact checked myself and found that at some point, I don't know if they updated it or we missed the story or when they did it, but yeah, you actually do have web tabs inside of Expense. You'll just need to jump into the settings. I forget exactly which like subcategory it's under, but just look for web tabs, and that's what you'll need to do. You'll just want to go into following the steps in that video to grab one of the public URLs, whether you want it fully public or locked down for your organization, and then just drop that into a web tab. You should be good to go.
Yeah. All right. And then Sanju Galanad, after watching Getting Started with Zoho Creator Part 1, App and Form Creation 2022, said, hey, I have one query. Hope is the right form. I hope is the right form. I uploaded an Excel file and made a dashboard, but that Excel file is updated on a daily basis. How do I make my dashboard auto update? Does it need to upload the latest success file? Do I have to do the dashboard all over again? Tyler, I would guess that with either Google Sheets or Zoho Sheets or Excel Online, all those have connectors, right?
Well, I mean, he's doing this natively inside of Zoho Creator. If it's a cloud file, Sanju, you should be able to connect it directly to Zoho Analytics if you want to do some of your dashboards there. But if you are needing that data inside of Zoho Creator, you would need to upload the latest Excel file into your database, but you will not need to recreate the entire dashboard, right? So if you have a data table that can capture all your Excel, you already have dashboards built, just import the new data into your existing table, and it should update all of your dashboards.
Nice. All right. And Peter Coy, hey Peter, how you doing? I wonder how many people can be logged into a portal simultaneously. I have a prospect who may need to support 7 million people logged in at a time. I would not recommend it, Peter. I don't know we'll ask John Mark if his portal. I mean, I don't. You're going to have to be on a big server.
I can't imagine it, because any portal, like John Mark's portal, Z portals would struggle probably because any page load requires API calls to Zoho. So if you have like 7 million people moving between pages and things, it's just going to hammer it. The native portals inside of Zoho,
right?
Yeah,
if you're like,
I don't know, Peter.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'd go down that road. I just, we had a client not too long ago, Brett, who needed, was it 30, 40 million contacts in CRM, and they were looking at maybe a portal and books. And when we started to do the technical scoping, we started to get real nervous about just the ability to make all that work well and not have system outages and slowness. And so, it's the danger zone, I'd say. 7 million.
If you're handling 7 million people on any kind of site, so Amazon or Facebook or whatever, it's a closed system. It's not making API calls all over the place. It's, and my gosh, the bandwidth, the compute you have to handle that is going to be rather large.
Non-trivial exercise.
I don't even know if like WordPress or any of the standard platforms are even set for that, right? I don't know. Joomla or Drupal, or I don't think any of them. I don't know. This is beyond our expertise, Peter. All right. And then Mikhail over at Club Z asked us, hey, I just got your weekly newsletter and watched the YouTube video from Zenatta on CRM attachments, automated migration to WorkDrive. Unfortunately, I don't think I saw any links to this code that was scheduled and executed this. Is this something that Zenatta or anyone else can provide? Mikhail, we could, but we're not gonna. It's just one of those things that we do for our clients. And
there's some special sauces that the secret recipe does stay in-house.
A lot of special sauce in there, just a ton. So unfortunately, no. Are there any more questions? Yeah, got one more. Old Beat Z over at Club Z ask, how do you track forecasts in CRM? What he's really asking here, Tyler, is he has a forecast and he's looking at it, but then someone changes the amount, they change the close date, they make those changes, and when you look at the forecast, you're really not able to get a snapshot of, oh, what was my forecast on November 1st as opposed to what it is now here on November 11th.
How are
so
things
how
like
do you
moving through my pipeline, right? Something gets from stage 1 to stage 2, right? Expected revenue goes up, and you would want your live forecast to change, but basically he's looking for that ability to say, if I want my forecast right now, I can look in CRM, but what if I want whatever my forecast looked like a week ago or 2 weeks ago? So BC, what I would recommend, we've done this for a handful of clients, is to pull that data into Zoho Analytics. I feel like that's like my catchphrase at this point. I'd set up some reports that kind of roll up the data into the various categories and stages that you want to forecast on. And then I would set up what's called a data snapshot. And so essentially what you could do is run like a snapshot at, let's say, like 11 p.m., 12 p.m., whatever time of day, whatever, cadence you want to run it at, where you'd have, a new data table that's created that, column number 1 is snapshot date, which effectively for you would be like your forecast date, whatever date you want to pull what it was. And then you'd be able to just very easily plot out that data, whether you want like a, pivot table, chart view, whatever. The trick would just be to make sure that you've got a nice snapshot going, because it's really, any of the CRM reports are like always going to be based on what the data is right now. It's just kind of the reporting mode of CRM. But analytics will give you that ability to snapshot and look backwards.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah, so I want to apologize to everybody in our chat room. This morning, I thought it might be a good idea to make the live announcement of our show available to everybody, not just subscribers of our YouTube channel. So because of that, gosh, we got 18 Sexy XYZ. Have a good time and find your love in Jedi Dick sense.
I think it goes without saying, don't click that link.
Yeah, so we're gonna put that back to basically subscribers only. Another reason to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tyler, because if you don't, you won't get our live show announcements anyway. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. As always, if you want to get a hold of myself or Tyler, just head over to Zenatta.com and click on book a meeting. And if you want to ask us a question or participate in our community, please head over to club.zenatta.com.
And on the website is where you'll find complete episodes of the show, as well as links to all the stories we discussed today. We'd love if you would follow us on your favorite social media platform and subscribe to us here on YouTube, as well as your choice of podcast app. We'll see you next Friday.
Gosh, Tyler, if you and I weren't both, happy, loving relationships, I might be tempted to check on, 18 Sexy XYZ's link.
It is
there,
convincing. It is.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it really looks like you could find true love. I do. And have a good time.
Have a good weekend, everybody. Find your love.
Take care. Bye.